Welcome back. You're watching us here on Power Breakfast on CNBC TV 18. In case you've just tuned in, pull up the GIFT Nifty for you. It's a 400-point gap down that we're expecting at this point, which is now actually narrowed down to about 261 points itself. Trump had announced a barrage of tariffs overnight, because of which the global markets are facing that big a hole, which is a Trump-sized hole itself. For the Asian markets as well, the Taiwanese index is shut today. You have the Nikkei and the Kospi coming up for you. Both of them under a wee bit of pressure. The Hang Seng down about 1.7%. Let's pull up the Kospi or the Taiwanese index. Both of them lower as well. The big question: how will these overnight cues impact the Indian market? Our research team is always joining in with the Power Prep segment. The stocks that are likely to be in the news. It's also a Thursday, which implies that we have the weekly options expiry that plays out too. So, let's go across to Sudarshan first. Sudarshan, the weakness that we are seeing in the global markets, we've spoken about all of that. Is there a case that India perhaps, is less affected by all of that is happening by virtue of the others getting affected a little more?
Good morning, Manglam. So if I can start with, if there was any hope for Trump to be kinder or nicer, as he had said earlier, those hopes got diminished within few minutes of his speech. When he started his speech, all the US stock futures were up around 1% or more than that. But as he started his speech and started talking about tariffs, those stock futures were down in the range of 3 to 4%. And following those cues, GIFT Nifty for us is indicating start with a cut of nearly 300 points. But mind it, it has seen a minor recovery from the lows. At one point, it was down more than 400 points or nearly 400 points. But talking about yesterday's session, it was a good day of trade for us. All the frontline indices saw a healthy gain. Even market breadth was in favor of advance decline ratio at the close was in the ratio of 3:1. On the institutional flows front, FIs continued to sell. They have sold for 3 consecutive days. Yesterday also, they have sold more than rupees 1,500 crore, but it was offset by DIs, which have bought nearly 3,000 crore. And with this, FI's long exposure also saw an increase, and it's at 32%. And they have added long positions of more than 4,600 contracts, and it was a minor increase in short positions. Now coming to the option front, on the call side, 23,300 call and 23,350 call have seen healthy additions, and on the put side, 23,200 and 23,300 put have seen healthy additions. What does it indicate? Because ahead of tariff announcements, people did not want to take the risk. So there was in a very short range. That's the reason you saw that 23,000 call also seen healthy additions, and in the put side also 23,000 puts saw healthy additions. Now coming to support and resistance. For support, it's seen around 23,000, which is 50-day moving average. If it slips below 23,000, the next support comes around 22,928. That is 20-day moving average. Resistance for now is 23,467, which is 100-day moving average. Stocks that will be in focus, one sector that will be in focus is the pharma, especially stocks like Zydus Life or Aurobindo Pharma and Dr. Reddy's, because they have major revenue mix that comes from US. And now the news is US President Donald Trump has decided to exempt pharma from the reciprocal tariff. So keep an eye on these stocks.
Indeed, pharma will be the sector to watch out for. The tariff exemptions only for now. That's the important thing that you need to keep in mind. Sudarshan, thanks a lot for that. Over to Vamakshi now, who joins in with all the market cues we need to watch out for today. Vamakshi, good morning.
Well, good morning, Hormaz. Yesterday was a good session, but not sure if that would transpire today as well. Yesterday, market closed with healthy gains. The Nifty rose by 167 points. So did the Sensex, up nearly 593 points. The market breadth was firmly in favor of the advances. The broader markets continued to outperform the benchmark indices. All the sectoral indices closed in the green, with realty index leading the charge. FMCG, bank, IT, as well as auto sectors were some of the top gainers in trade yesterday. But when we look at the US markets, they too closed higher, but the US futures saw a carnage as President Trump unveiled his sweeping reciprocal tariff measures. The yield on the US 10-year Treasury too slipped along with other global bonds. When you look at the gold prices, the demand for safe haven naturally goes up. The gold prices too rose, but the oil on the flip side saw a bit of a cut. The most important cue to watch out today will, of course, be the reciprocal tariffs imposed by President Trump. But apart from that, keep an eye out on RBI's OMO purchase auctions of around 20,000 crores. US initial jobless claims will also come out. But again, all of this will be overshadowed by the reciprocal tariffs. As far as levels to watch out are concerned, there's a strong support at 23,000, 23,100. But we'll have to wait and see whether or not the index breaches this. As of now, when we look at the GIFT Nifty, it is indicating a gap down start to the trading session today.
Indeed, Vamakshi, thank you so much for that. What about individual stocks? There are a bunch of them as well. Upasna joins in with a list of stocks that one needs to watch out for. Upasna.
Good morning, Mangalam. Where it looks like a huge list of corporate developments that has happened overnight. First up, let us look at the FY25 updates. MOIL will be in focus as manganese ore production of the company has seen an uptick of 2.7% on a YoY basis, and the manganese iron ore sales has also seen an uptick of 3.3% on a YoY basis. Next up is PNB Bank. The global business has seen a sequential uptick of around 2% and 14% on a YoY basis, and domestic business has seen an uptick of nearly about 1.7% sequentially and 13% on a YoY basis. Now, ESAF Small Finance Bank will also be in focus as the bank's total deposits has seen an uptick of 17% on a YoY basis and nearly about 4% sequentially. And gross advances has also seen an uptick of nearly about 4% sequentially and 1% on a YoY basis. Now, Dabur will also be in focus on the back of its Q4 update. The company says that the FMCG volume trends continue to remain subdued for this quarter, and India FMCG business is likely to decline in mid-single digit. Dabur's consolidated revenue is expected to be flattish during Q4 FY25 is what the company has indicated. Hindustan Zinc will also be in focus on the back of its Q4 update. The company says that the mined metal production has seen an uptick of 4% and 17% sequentially. Maruti Suzuki will also be in focus as company has said that it is announced a hike of car prices across 7 models with effect from 8th of April 2025. And mind you, Maruti had informed earlier of this price hike on exchanges on 17th of March. Overall, if we see, this is the third price hike announced by the company in 2025 so far. Hero Motors will also be in focus on the back of its March auto sales. The company has seen total sales higher than estimates, up about 12% on a YoY basis. And Hero's Q4 sales, if we see overall, it has seen a decline of 1% on a YoY basis as compared to the growth of other peers. So certainly, Hero has underperformed. Bharat Forge will also be in focus as North America truck orders fall further in the month of March and orders are at 7th month low. BEL will also be in focus as company has signed a contract worth 593 crore with Indian Air Force. Tata Com will also be in focus as company has approved 16.71 million euros share buyback from ITC Singapore. And lastly, Macrotech developers will also be in focus as company denies approval of fabricated board resolution, and it has also said that House of Abhinandan Lodha, that is HOA BEL entities, use fabricated board resolution for trademark use. So all in all these stocks will be in focus today on the back of the corporate developments.
Upasna, thanks a lot for that. Plenty of stocks to keep an eye out for, but particularly, of course, the pharma sector that needs to be watched out in today's session.